Hey Reelers, welcome back to Rusty Reels. Thank you for watching and welcome to another Real Deal review. Today I'm going to be talking about the new Dark Ages British comedy film, Seize Them. I was rather surprised to see this film coming out. I saw a few advertisements online, but when I realised the array of British comedic actors in this film, it really gave me a drive to want to go to the cinema. But what you want to know is, do you want to seize the opportunity to go see this particular film? Well, stay tuned for a Real Deal review on Seize Them. Welcome back, Reelers. So before we begin, I just want to prompt you guys to make sure that if you enjoy these videos, if you like what you see, please make sure to like the video. You can also make sure to subscribe to the Rusty Reels channel so you can see more of these videos. Just make sure you turn on the notifications and then you know when new posts come out and new Real Deal reviews are posted. You can also follow me on social media. I am most active on Instagram at Rusty Reels. But most of all, please make sure that you join the YouTube channel. It really does help a small channel like mine. When I get likes and subscriptions, it helps boost things and hopefully get the channel on the way. So, Seize Them. Is it a film that you really want to go to the cinema to see while it's out? Well, I'm going to tell you right now. So what's the film about? It's a film set in the Dark Ages. It stars Amy Lou Wood as the main character, as Queen Dagon. She's quite an unpopular queen, she's not particularly nice, and as a result of this, there is a revolt by the peasants. The peasants are led by Nicola Coughlan, who plays Humble Joan. So what happens right at the beginning of this film is Humble Joan leads the peasants in a great revolt against the Queen. Queen Dagon's palace guards give up on her. They pretty much defect to the peasants' revolt, and Queen Dagon is left on the run. She's looking for support from some uncles or something who live over the sea, so she's now on a quest to go to the coast and get help from them to help take back her throne. Along for the adventure is her handmaiden, her dedicated handmaiden. This is Sholmay, played by Lolly Adefope. Along the way on their adventure, they bump into Nick Frost, who plays Bobbick. He's a little bit of a simpleton. He is, the polite way to put it is a poo shoveler. He is a man with a big heart, but very simple-minded, as I mentioned. That's more or less all you need to know about the plot without giving too much away. The film is written by Andy Riley. You may not recognise his name, but he is actually a British best-selling author. You may even recognise the books, the Bunny Suicide series. The Book of Bunny Suicides? Either way, I remember seeing these books as a kid and finding them so hilarious. The cartoon illustrations and all these stupid depictions of how bunnies would just commit suicide. I know it sounds really, really stupid, but this is the type of humour that I would have expected to see in the film. I am a little bit of a kid at heart. I do appreciate silly humour in film. But in this particular film, I don't think it landed all that well. There are some jokes, there are some chuckle out loud moments, but nothing that really had me roaring with laughter or belly laughing, just a few lols. But I didn't really find that there was any particular smart humour in this film. And the film itself is depicted a lot like a Horrible Histories episode, a very long one. And from the sets and the costume pieces, it does feel like they have done this film on a bit of a budget. And that isn't necessarily bad, but you can just definitely feel the tone does feel very cheap. And unfortunately, the humour feels a little bit cheap as well. As I said, there is an array of British talent in this film. You have Amy Lou Wood, who you'll most recognise her for being in the Sex Education Netflix series. Lolly Adefope you might not recognise as much, but she was in the popular BBC British sitcom Ghosts. And there's also a very popular series in America called Shrill. I haven't seen it, but the show has been critically acclaimed over in the US. And of course you have Nick Frost, who's been in countless comedy films along with Simon Pegg, the Cornetto trilogy, so that's Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz, and The World's End. That's only to name a very few, but you've got Paul, Fighting with My Family. Now, while I was expecting this to be a surprise comedy film that I was really going to enjoy, but as I mentioned, I was a little let down by the humour in this film. I didn't find it all that funny. I think the problem was it was trying to be too silly too hard, and as a result, the jokes just fell flat. I was sitting in the cinema and I had a few chuckle moments. There is a particular moment where people keep dying at a certain point, and that was quite funny. But other than that, there weren't a lot of really laugh out loud moments that I enjoyed. And considering Andy Riley wrote this, I was disappointed because he's done other things that you've probably seen on screen, like Romeo and Juliet, Veep. There's also another British TV comedy kind of sketch show called Come Fly With Me, very similar to Little Britain, and also stars David Walliams. A lot of this stuff about the film was pointing towards something that I thought was actually going to be a surprise comedy, fun film that I was going to enjoy. Unfortunately, it wasn't the case. The story just felt very slow and dry. As I mentioned, the humour doesn't land quite as well as you believe it should. The performances were good. Like, no one performs badly in this film. Nick Frost is actually probably the funniest person in the film just because of the simple nature of his character, and the things that he come very from a place of innocence as well, because he's so much of a village idiot. But there were some other moments that were trying so hard to be funny, it just didn't land. There's even a moment where a couple of the other actors are doing these atrocious German accents and getting into a fight and an argument, and again, it's just not funny. It's not smart humor. It's just, oh, we are doing the accents, and so therefore you must laugh at us because we are talking this way. Oh, ha ha ha, so funny. It's like, look, that wasn't funny. That's how cringeworthy and sort of like, oh, why are we being subjected to this? As I mentioned, there are no bad performances in this film. I think they are just let down by the comedic writing. You've even got Jessica Hines in this film, who is a great British writer, producer, actress, won loads of awards within TV, but unfortunately her character even fell flat with me. There are even some other familiar faces within this film who come from the British stand-up society. You know, the faces that you see on the comedy panel shows on TV. So unfortunately, this is not a film I would highly recommend. I'm only going to give it a 2 reels. You know, it's not terrible, it's just about watchable, but unfortunately, you're going to come away feeling a little bit disappointed. I don't recommend you go to the cinema to watch this. At some point, it's going to come out on one of the streaming platforms. You may as well give it a try. Maybe I'm wrong, but have you seen the film at home? What do you think? Do you disagree with what I've said here today? If you do, comment below. If you like this video, also comment, like as well, subscribe to the channel. Very much appreciate you watching as always. I hope you stop around again, Reelers, to watch another one of my Real Deal reviews. But in the meantime, and as always, just be real.